Perfect. Now we're good.
Okay.
How we doing, folks? It's Chris here with Mo 1A Audits. Beside me here, I have Miss Kim,
Yeah.
and behind the camera, I have Mr. Lucas. You want to say hi, Lucas?
Hi.
Hi. And as you all can tell here in the camera, we've got Sheriff Bonham from Osage County. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I really enjoy it.
Absolutely. So if you don't mind, I would like to, ask one question here. What's the difference between police department and sheriff's department?
That is a great question, and it's right to my heart.
Yeah.
So, in the state of Missouri, and all states are a little bit different, we are not a constitutional office,
Okay.
and people are absolutely freaked out that they're not. But the state legislators have given us as the chief law enforcement officer of said county, which includes the cities. We have a city of Lynn here. They have their own police department. They're responsible and answer to the mayor and or the body, the assemblymen, councilmen, whoever that body may be. Larger cities would have police boards that they may answer to or be questioned or called into. The sheriff is responsible directly to the citizens and the voter population. And every 4 years, if they don't like what they're doing, they can remove them by vote.
Yeah.
And so in that, I think that we need to take that serious. I believe and totally support the constitutional sheriff.
Yeah.
And it's one thing, I support the Constitution, but the truth of the matter is that the legislators could always get mad at the sheriffs and say, you know what, we're just going to make you keepers of the jail and we're going to make a state police. And then who is the state police responsible to?
The entire state.
The governor.
Okay.
Government,
Okay.
Yeah.
The governor is who they report through DPS.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And so many states have gone that. Connecticut has removed all the sheriffs.
Yeah.
And they have a state police only.
Yep.
And so I think there's real danger of that because our international, as we were talking just prior to coming on, is that there's cultural differences between Boone County and Osage County.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably very, very strikingly different.
100%.
And so in that, if you vote for whatever that government is, that is what you voted for.
Yeah.
And then here, the same thing. They voted for that, not to be harassed or having different rules and whatnot. The sheriff is that bumper zone between, because it's an executive branch office, the bumper between the judiciary and the legislative to make sure that they are enforcing the Constitution as to the citizens. There is another perspective I think people forget. People can violate other people's constitutional rights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking regular citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why we have laws. So if you kill someone, then there's a violation of that individual's rights that you've cut their life and their pursuit of happiness. So therefore, they have violated somebody else's constitutional rights. Then the law comes in and makes an arrest for manslaughter, murder, so on, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the sheriff, we have stood multiple times, and even today in many different parts of the world, they are bucking the federal government, and that is their prerogative and that their geographical zone. In our area, our people have made it very clear that they don't want drugs in our county, they don't want theft, and they want their gun rights protected.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah.
So the difference is that I am not controlled by an entity. The county commission doesn't control me. I'm controlled by the people and the will of the people. And if they speak, I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
So we came in with a different attitude, different, staunch. Everybody's wanting drugs off the street, realizing drugs, if you're going to be arrested for drugs, you're going to walk in, you're going to be booked, and you're going to walk out. It is the way it is in our state right now.
Yeah.
But if I arrest you because you've stolen,
Yeah.
now I have a victim, and if you're the recipient of somebody stole your whatever it is, now I'm putting them a victim. You're going to be mad if that judge or that prosecutor does not give you justice.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Very true.
And so we went after the theft end of things. Don't steal from me.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Don't steal from me. And we did some other things to make sure that, if we have theft in our county, by putting trackers into different things. So if they move something, They don't know if it has a tracker in it or not,
Right.
but we were able to facilitate arrests very quickly within seconds
Yeah.
if they move that item. So
It's kind of like an air track or air
Mhm.
tag. Yeah.
Have you found that tackling the theft portion has had an indirect effect on the drug issue here? Because I mean, a lot of people, of course, when they're seeking drugs, they need payment, and theft will invariably come into the situation.
I have my theory, okay?
Okay.
So it's a theory only, is that we have pushed them out. So the drugs are going to be here. We will never, I'm going to be very clear, we're
there's
not
no
going to solve the drug problem.
No.
I hate to break that news to anybody. We have to continue to go after it, but we're never going to solve the drug problem until people themselves said enough's enough.
Yeah.
There'll always be something to make that's a new drug to try.
If there's a consumer base out there, they're going to continue to buy.
Yeah.
The theft issue is back in the day. Okay, I wasn't around when Sir Peel came around back in the 1900s. So
Mhm.
to just be clear, I'm not that old. Okay, but in that there was about a community policing. It was beat policing. It was before we started driving in cars. Cars are the greatest thing ever happened. It helps our response time, but it's the worst thing that ever happened because it made a disconnect with the public. And so we have to force ourselves to be in that environment, stopping at the coffee shop, stopping and visiting with them, getting community policing moving into problem-oriented policing.
Yeah.
When we combine those two, we can be effective when the citizenry work hand in hand
Mm-hmm.
with law enforcement.
Yeah.
On the same token, may I say this?
Yeah.
When you call me and you say, Sheriff, I think there's drug activity because there's 5 cars in my neighbor's driveway,
Yeah.
that's not even reasonable suspicion.
No.
They could be having just
I get
together
together.
or whatever. Yeah.
And that does happen. So you have to put the bumpers in to make sure that is not the case, that it's an abuse. But on the same token, we do know we're never going to win until the public, when citizenry says enough's enough.
Yeah.
When moms and dads take the tough love, that's when it's going to make the difference. We try to have programs. We have a drug court here, and it has a very good success rate comparatively. We have a chaplain program, so if they want spiritual connection, they can have that. It's not mandatory by any means, but if they want that, we're giving them every opportunity to be able to get off there. They have, I know the chaplains have personally taken those that wanted to get out of the life, taken them to Springfield and made sure they got into programs. There's others that have got out but fell back in. And so the drug problem, unfortunately, because I know, and I can tell you, my sister, my oldest sister, God rest her soul, got hooked.
Yeah.
And it becomes really personal when you see that.
Yeah.
And you can't get them to change their mind. They will give you the lip service that they go to the treatment, but they'll fall back in. And it is devastating for a family.
Yeah.
Absolutely devastating. So
Yeah.
I hope that answered your question.
Oh, it does. One thing I was also thinking about was you talking about connecting with the community. I was just thinking that it seems very different than just most city police forces, number one. It reminds me also, when you talk about actually having to get out of a vehicle and connect with the community, reminds me of hearing people talk about patrol officers. I'd have to tell them, hey guys, get out and talk to the people on the properties. It's not just about making sure nothing's happening,
Right.
but in doing all of that, making those connections and showing them respect and respect for their rights, do you find that maybe that helps to decrease some of the various types of crime, addiction, things like that, because people are more willing to reach out to you all for help?
I think it does. I believe it does. If you look and go back on our criminal stats, you'll see a decrease since we've taken over. I would like to be able to attribute, I can't directly attribute, but I'd like to attribute to that. We're in a historical lull far as crime right now. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I think that's
yeah.
all across the country. It's
Yeah.
crime's pretty much dropped.
Yeah.
So, you
But
know.
we have
Columbia.
significantly dropped. I mean, we have significant
stuff.
drop. It's just, I'm not sure, can be part of the trend across the nation, but I also believe that we, have done some of the right things as well. Roaming patrols are very important. Being seen, presence, absolutely huge. When they see that you're in the neighborhood or believe that you're in the neighborhood, they may have been thinking about committing a crime, but now they're going to change their mind.
Yeah, that's usually a big deterrent. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so this goes back to 1900 when Sir Peel came out with that, and it still is relevant today. With it, I think there's a lot more that is put on law enforcement that was not intended to be, as a law enforcement, and we have several now are CIT certified, and we're dealing with a lot more mental health issues. We're dealing with a lot more addiction issues, it seems like, than in the past, and critical, and I mean critical.
Yeah.
We've seen increase in suicide, which is just unfathomable. It's hard, and because in a small community like this, somehow we know each other. We're all connected, and so it's very, very personal. I know your sheriff in Boone County, great man. I really like him a lot, and I can't imagine knowing everybody, but he knows pretty much everybody.
I'm sure
but,
he's been there. He's been there quite a while.
but when you get into St. Louis or Kansas City, Jackson County, it becomes substantially harder. But when you're in a small rural environment, we know each other.
Oh yeah.
Is this what you prefer, or have you mainly worked in small towns throughout your
So
career?
I have worked Pulaski County, which is the Wild West.
Yeah.
So your population there is almost double what it is here, and then when you have your daytime workers, then it increases once again. There, with the fort being right there, there's a lot of drug activity. There's a lot of assaults. Domestic violence is still one of our major problems that we have right now. I ask you, what do you think my number one complaint from the citizenry right now in Osage County is? Number
Noise
one.
complaint?
Close.
I don't know.
Speeding.
Speeding.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
By far and away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every county road
Yes.
is speeding.
Oh, yeah.
And as you drove in on the Audubon
Yes.
this morning,
Yes.
also known as US 50,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll tell you what.
there's usually a heavy presence there, but there are people that are literally, 100 miles an hour.
Oh, I believe it.
Sounds like Route B.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Parish Road.
Yeah. You know already when that turns to Route B out
I'm
past all
just
them
driving around
factories.
patrolling at night and vroom, vroom. Okay, bye guys.
Yeah.
And so, and like I
You
said,
go for a while.
like I told, as I tell many of our citizens, look, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Because there's others that wish that was their number one complaint.
Yeah. I can
And
imagine.
I mean, and we try to address that the best we can with the small agency, and we'll do focused and targeted enforcement in those things, which usually the ones that are speeding are guess who?
Probably probably law enforcement.
No,
No?
local
Oh,
resident.
local?
Yeah.
the ones that they were complaining
Yeah.
about is their own people.
Well, yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because
Honestly.
especially if you feel comfortable, your own streets and everything, you're
Yeah.
just gonna zip on.
And I've seen it. We've seen it, unfortunately, where a lot of law enforcement think they can get away with it, and
Yeah.
that's a sad thing.
It is.
But that just sets an example.
And I'm like,
for the other
you do it. How
drivers.
come I can't? Yeah.
Well, I think too is if you're trying
Yeah.
real hard. If you're 20 above,
Yeah.
you're really trying.
You're trying.
So, I have, actually, a state trooper was driving through, and I reported him, for excessive over, and they handled it.
They took care of it.
They did handle it.
Okay.
That's good.
Because they didn't know it was the sheriff. They were going.
Yeah. And I can see it because as you're coming down the hill, it goes from 65 to 50, and then it 35 or 45, then 35 pretty immediately, and then up to 25 up here where we're at,
Right.
and it's fairly quick,
Yes.
and I've learned just take your foot off the gas and let it go, just
that's a city issue, but when you get out on the
Yeah.
Audubon,
Yeah, boy, howdy, let me tell you. Yeah, yeah, we were getting passed left and right. I'm like,
Oh,
just
yeah.
go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead. So, question I had: do you all ever run into any First Amendment auditors in this area?
So we've had one, and I'm trying to think of his channel. He's a YouTube channel, and he came in, but he had after the fact. Nobody took interest in him,
Okay.
and so it didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well.
like, do your thing, dude.
do your thing. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I mean, if you do have, how do y'all as law enforcement handle the situation?
So our people have been briefed,
Yeah.
and it's because and can I shout out the other
Absolutely.
Armageddon Press?
Yes. Yes. One of the best out there.
I think he is. I've watched his channel evolve over the years too.
Yes.
And it's hard to believe he's been watching him like 5-6 years now, but he's his persona has changed through the years.
Yeah. Doesn't look the same without that beard.
He doesn't, and his son is about as quiet as they get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you disrespect someone, you get what you get.
Yeah.
And he has kind of taken that spot. But if you're nice to him,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, well, how you doing? You want to come in and look around?
Yeah.
Those folks are going to get a hit in business, I'm quite
Yes.
sure, because of their kindness.
That's what we try to do.
Yeah.
That's our biggest thing.
And so my experience, I know there was a local auditor that had got sideways with the local PD.
Yeah.
And she, I think, was upset with us, but I'm like, we didn't do anything but showed up to a backup.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be those type things that happen that if she wanted to come talk, I'm right here.
Right here.
I
Come
know
talk.
one of the big things I'll always hear people say is, why do they need all of these police? I have dealt with police so much and listened to the scanner while they're doing this. A lot of times, originally I see you all think it's necessary, and then somebody eventually gets called off if the scene is stable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everyone just needs to breathe. And I think a lot of times, because law enforcement is not regularly making contact with citizens these days, they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand any of the procedures of law enforcement. They're just wondering, okay, so there's this one guy, why are there 10 officers here?
Yeah.
Well, this seems overkill.
Yeah.
So we've been very, very fortunate here in Osage County. We have never lost a line of duty death.
Good.
Ever.
Good.
And that's one thing I don't want to be the first in.
No.
And so
very
they do.
unfortunate.
I
There's a
tell
lot
our
of
guys they get to go home.
Yeah.
I want them to go home. And in that, you've heard the statement over and over again, out of the abundance of caution.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you be overhanded? Yes. And that's where you've got to be. But I want you to close your eyes just for a moment. You don't have to, but in your mind's eye, if you're hearing just radio traffic, you're only getting from one end and one part of the story. And voice reflection means a big thing.
Panic. Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, we better get there.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a case in point. I had arrested, I got a call, there was a domestic in my town. And I responded, it was physical. So they were hearing glass breaking in the background. Sounds like it's pretty frantic.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the first one on scene. Everyone was at least 30 minutes from me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I see a broken glass when I arrive at there. So I'm seeing there's a broken window. That means that they've gained access. I can hear them yelling. I know there's a child involved. Okay. This is the mental, just so you can kind of picture that.
Yeah.
And so I now have exigent circumstances because she's screaming. I can hear the baby crying. I can hear him cussing. And there's already been acts of violence. We enter the home. I ask him to come out with his hands up. I have my firearm drawn because I don't know what I'm fixing to encounter.
Yep.
I go ahead and put him in cuffs. Everything's cool. And then he decides he wants to fight. And I said, look, let's just go outside. Tell me what's going on. I'm trying to be reasonable.
Yeah.
Unknown that he had been doing drugs that impaired his judgment.
Yeah.
And I had my hand on his cuff. He spun in a certain way that caught me, and you might be able to see the scars.
Oh, yeah. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at this point, when he did that, my radio went out of my hand because of the way he spun. So the radio goes that way. We go to the deck, and I just hold him. Well, the last call was asking for backup,
Oh no.
and now they can't get a hold of me on the radio because if I let him back up, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to want to fight again, and
Yeah.
there's more chance of him getting hurt than me. So why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
While those guys are screaming as fast as they can get there, and their emotions are high because it's the sheriff. You know, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
the sheriff's here. And I was fine, but I just could not get to the radio. They showed up. It went. He kicked the sergeant in the knee as he was taking him to the patrol car, which the patrol sergeant lost his balance, fell forward on top of him, and he went face planted. And you know, those are things that happen, and that's real life.
Yeah.
And that's not the desire. The
No.
desire was, let's go out and talk. Let's see what's going on. You know, maybe there's some justification here, but then you're starting to show me there was a justification
Yeah.
by that versus let's talk this through. Obviously, I'm putting you in handcuffs. There's been violence. I need to make sure. We're going to secure the house and make sure everybody's safe. Do we need ambulances, so on, etc., before we get any further? But it changed in a moment, in a heartbeat.
It just like
Well,
that.
that's why
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand why you'll say that domestics are some of the worst things you can go to.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
You don't know who's going to get mad in that moment, the victim or the assailant. Are they both victims, both assailants? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, are you going to end up getting wailed on because you arrested the boyfriend or the girlfriend?
Yes.
You know,
And that
you don't
happens.
know.
Yeah. I remember
So-
I was home on leave when I was in the service, and I was coming back through a St. Louis suburb,
Mhm.
and there was a guy out in the front yard just half whooping the heck out of his wife, girlfriend, or whatever, right in the middle of the front yard. So I drove my truck right through their fence and got out and commenced to taking my business out on the guy. I was like, man, you cannot be doing it. Next thing I know, I turn around, the woman's beating on me.
Mhm.
I'm like, whatever, you know?
Yes, and that's a real fear.
Yeah.
I mean, in that case, that didn't happen. I'm very thankful,
Yeah.
but it could have.
Yeah.
And
And
then
I've
now I've got
Had to
two
do
competitive.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It. Anytime I have that issue at work, it's okay. I'm backing off.
Yeah.
Because I have had them go from screaming at each other. Okay, bye. You're screaming at me now. I do not need to.
I don't need it. Yeah.
You know, we try to make sure that we have and give access to those that are victims of domestic violence. No one deserves to have their rear end beat.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And it, believe it or not, it happens to males
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
proportionate with females,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
which a lot would think it's all female, but
No.
it is not.
No.
And if you go to Fort Leonard Wood, it is disproportionately female on male.
Well, yeah. I
And the
mean,
reason-
Kim whooped me, you know. Yeah.
Because there's consequences for soldiers getting arrested for domestic violence, so they'll take the beating, awaiting the cops to show up, and then you find out that it's our spouse
Yeah.
that has committed domestic violence. So it's not all one-sided by any means, but on the same token, nobody deserves that.
No.
And you're back to, again, are you violating their rights, an individual to an individual?
Yeah, I think it's like my favorite saying: just because you can doesn't mean you should.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
I
much.
agree.
So, how big of an area is Osage County?
So Osage County, we got a population just about 14,000. We
Okay.
have 613 square miles.
wow.
We have 158 miles of shoreline. The
Okay.
Missouri River, the Osage River, the Gasconade River, and the Marys River.
Oh,
Well, howdy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of water. So we do have a boat division, a marine division
Mhm.
as well. That's used in the summer times, and they're trained in search and rescue. We have sonar capabilities that's second to none in the state.
Yeah.
To be able to follow up on.
Wow.
Locate different things in the water.
That's
Unfortunately,
amazing.
so.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Recovery.
Yeah, recovery. There you go.
Recovery,
There's
yes.
there's the correct term.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Let me think. I do have a question for you. Actually, two.
Oh,
Okay.
The first is, what has your biggest challenge been when it's come to a member of the public in being sure that you yourself are upholding their rights? Because I know all sorts of things can happen on a call, you know. and people may or may not be in their right minds at the
Oh,
time,
yeah.
and maybe saying and doing things they oughtn't, and you still, regardless of their behavior, have to not only look out for your safety and others, but also everyone's rights.
I think it's the hardest is when you're on scene and you're in the middle of it, of trying to focus your industry to whatever that is, for whatever the scene is dictating, because there are multiple different scenes, different scenarios, and someone wants to approach you at that point when you are at the very planning stages on what way we're going to do this, and emotion intervenes. Because you're under pressure already, and then emotion is being projected at you that you're not doing right, you should do this, you're stupid, you're whatever. That's when it makes it very difficult, because you're under pressure already to be able to perform and protect the public as a whole. If you, for example, have someone on the loose that is a felon, they're not really dangerous, but maybe with drug charges or whatever, but you're trying to coordinate a ground search, you're trying to coordinate all these things, and someone wants to come up and intercede and project themselves into it, thinking we don't have a lot of assets, and we're trying to do the best we can with what assets we do have. It's not helpful, and it's hard to keep the composure and make sure that we keep our emotions in check. We take training for that.
I can imagine.
So,
Right.
But I think that's probably the hardest. And the second part, again, what was the other portion?
The other question I had was, do you all have, not just in the field, your everyday, every shift training, upholding the Constitution, but do you all ever have ongoing training or coaching for those who may have a slip up out there?
So if there is, the write reports, and we also take all complaints very seriously. If there's a point, we're going to investigate. Some are valid, some are not. And I found it both ways. And what's interesting, I'm old enough to remember before body cams.
Yes.
Okay. And body cams are wonderful. Our officers, now there is going to be occasionally the malfunction, but they're getting less. The car cameras I had more problems with than I have the body cams. But the body cams tell us like it is. And so if there is an infraction, there can be up to seriousness to be removed.
Yeah.
If that is the case, we'll remove them. If there is just a indiscretion, we will probably deal with that in remedial training, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And so it's ongoing. Of course, we have our standard across the board, the 24 hours that they have to do for CEUs every year. But I probably do close to 100 to 200 hours myself. That's because I'm the trainer. I train quite a few. In fact, I'll be gone next week and training in Ava, Missouri. But on that, we talk about those constitutional issues. Our non-sworn, we talk about that because there still could be an agent of the government. And so therefore we talk about constitutional law with them, although it's not required, to make sure that they understand we need to still behave in a manner that is respectful. I can tell you that one of the hardest things for me still is that disrespect doesn't bother me. Look, I have kids and I got a wife, so no problem.
Yeah.
But when it becomes either violent or if it comes physical by spitting on you, it is awful hard to still, as a human being, to control that emotion.
Breathe.
Yes.
And so,
I've had those moments.
Yes.
Because we deal with college kids, drunk college. He with his other job has dealt with them too, and it's just like, okay, you called me the N-word with the hard R. You just spit at me. You just touched me inappropriately. Breathe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when the training just kicks in. It's like, okay, guys, we're not gonna do this.
The thing is that I think that we're very close in a very dangerous situation where we expect them to be almost like robotic.
Hang on a second. He's got to pause. Sorry.
Sorry?
What's up?
Oh, I'm using old sets
He
of
looked at
batteries, I
me and
guess.
went,
This damn thing died.
That's
That
a good
thing
thing. There's the
eats
joy of
batteries.
edit.
There you go.
That thing really eats
I literally
batteries.
just put these in this morning.
Oh, did you? You
I thought I had spares.
You bring your charger with you?
And her dirt.
No, I have spares.
Oh, yeah.
But that thing,
Yeah,
I
Duracell.
swear,
Oh, now you got the Ever Bunny.
Yeah. You know what happens when you put them in backwards, right? He just keeps coming and going.
Backwards.
Instead of going and go, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. No, we get.
I really
few
hope
more
I didn't
questions.
screw up my
Oh yeah,
question.
you're doing awesome,
Okay,
man.
okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna get in a couple more questions, and then you have anything else?
Oh, just the last one I had.
Okay.
I was gonna.
We're not
But,
too far from it. I
yeah.
don't
I
want
just
to
really
keep
hope
it
I
too
didn't
long.
screw
I
up
just
my
had
recording
one
at all.
more. That was
Huh?
all.
I just hope that didn't screw up my recording at all because it kind of just died out of nowhere.
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
What was the question that you were asking, and you just go back over it real quick,
yeah, refresh.
Kim?
I was trying to
She was
see.
staring.
Are you good? He's still tapping things.
But just refresh so that way.
Okay, no, I was
I'm
gonna
gonna say
ask.
refresh for a second while I'm checking some stuff.
I think we were ending with basically with training,
Yeah.
especially if there's been any type of infraction, and depending on how serious it's been what you would do.
Mhm.
I think you've answered mostly what I was wondering. I think the other question I had was, and I don't know if you feel uncomfortable answering this, I understand, but very often we hear about officers who have multiple infractions in the police department. They either choose to leave or ask to leave, and they just kind of hop from department to department, and it's never, hey, you can no longer be law enforcement, it's just you can no longer work here.
Mhm.
How do you feel about that, considering a lot of times it's somebody else who is the victim of that officer's actions, and of course them infringing on the other person's rights?
I think that it actually has gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
I came into the business where I left the business because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was in Arkansas at the time, and I saw things that I did not approve of. I could conscionably, personally, could not. I don't believe in that, but I had seen it. Now, having said that, fast forward here to Missouri, there was somewhat a protection for those officers that departments were not disclosing to departments like us, we were hiring.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've had that happen a couple times. Now, having said that, the law has changed. Now we're not going to be held liable, and the other people are not going to be liable for telling them whatever it is by their previous employment, as long as they have the release. But there was a time where that was. There also, in the Missouri State Legislature, I was just watching the bills yesterday, that it is going to strengthen that. That they can remove post licensings now from other states where they transferred in.
Mm-hmm.
They won't be able to get one if they lost their post license somewhere else,
That's good.
which is good.
That's a good thing.
And so there's several things I think that we're starting to get better at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we're there. We're not perfect. There's things that have fall through the crack. It's like this. So you have a product and you buy it, and you whatever it is, and you expect it to work just like it's supposed to work, and it doesn't. And you take it back, and you're mad because it's not working correctly, and they make it right.
Yeah.
Then is they a good company or a bad company?
That would be a heck of a good company.
Same thing.
Same
I
thing.
think.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. I think that those, when you have complaints, some are not.
Mm.
Some are just mad because they got arrested, and I get it. It sucks.
Yeah.
But on the same token, if there is something legitimate, then the severity of that will dictate on the way we're going to handle that.
Right.
And removal, up to removal, or disciplinary, or you may be placed in a different position. Interesting enough, there is one that is hindering us a little bit, and that's the Officer Bill of Rights. The Officer Bill of Rights, that is, the FOP came out with, that it protects officers, so we have to suspend them administratively, but in that I have to continue to pay them, and if I remove them of that, I have to go through a process of about 12 steps. If I don't do that, then we will be subject to lawsuit by the officer for improper.
So they
handling.
make it a bureaucratic headache in
Yes.
order to protect the officer from their own consequences. And
Correct.
Okay.
So
Because it sounds like ways to skirt accountability, finding those loopholes,
Mm-hmm.
was the order of the day, and now we're trying to close those. It sounds like what the legislature's doing.
I think that, it's a unique time. First of all, the public is speaking, but I think too, law enforcement officers are sick of it too. That- I think you had mentioned earlier what makes dangerous for a good officer.
Yeah, what's the number one reason how what's the most dangerous option for a good officer,
And it's a bad officer.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And I think that we're getting better at it. I'm not saying we've arrived.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're perfect, but I think we're getting better at it.
Yeah.
And it's a continual process that we continue to need to work on it, need to be sensitive to it. We also understand, though, we have to continue to keep the public safe, too.
Yeah.
Now, do you find that officers do avail themselves of any type of services that may help them, process any of the issues or individuals they encounter in the field that may either cause or reinforce unconscious biases?
I think that it's real, but I can tell you we go through a process, and part of it is I believe, when I grew up in a time, suck it up, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Brush it off.
Rub
It's just
some dirt on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
But we've missed the psychological side of this.
Mhm.
Okay, and it is proven that you can become jaded.
Mhm.
Now the law changed that our officers have to see a counselor once a year, and so they can speak about any issues. We've gone a step further, and anytime they have witnessed someone's death, whether it be natural or non-natural,
I can imagine that one.
they go to debriefing.
Yeah.
And I'm not privy to that, don't need to know about that.
Right.
But they have the opportunity to have some counseling. I've done, I don't know how many death notifications through the years. I mean, we're in the hundreds.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And each one of them is very personal.
Yeah.
And I can remember, I bet almost all of them, because they're all different and they all affected people. When you walk up to that door and you knock on that door and you have information that is absolutely going to be the worst day of their life, it becomes very personal. I don't care who you are. Now, if you get so desensitized, then you become almost inhuman.
Yeah.
And that's what I was leading to earlier, is that we're moving quickly towards this AI society where we expect our officers to behave almost robotic, and I think that's dangerous as well.
Yeah.
They still are people. They still, the wife yelled at them before they went to work. The dog chewed up their, pants or whatever the case may be. Those things are still going to happen. That's life. And I've always said everybody's entitled to a bad day. It's when it becomes a consistent behavior, then it's a big problem.
Yes.
I hope that answered the question better.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. I mean, honestly, the things that you seem to have put into place here, just this is standard for your department, for what you all do. I love it because so rarely do I hear people saying that I admit that my officers need this service or this service when they've encountered this, and have those in place to be proactive. A lot of times what I'm seeing is just reaction, and solving nothing. For instance, going back to Columbia, it's always a Band-Aid. That is not the root issue. It just seems that you are very much here, you and your department are going straight to the causes. You all connecting with each other and the public. And I just don't hear, just everything you're saying that often at all.
Not often, yeah.
So when I first came in, we came in under an embattled sheriff's office. And credibility, integrity are just words unless you imply it and imply it. One of the things, and it took me almost a year to write, it was a 10-year goal plan for Osage County Sheriff's Office. It's on our website.
Yep.
Welcome to look at it.
I have.
Very transparent. Addressing the needs of this department. And so part of a CEO job, whether it's law enforcement or Ford Motor Company, you have to look at the future. You have to look at what is the problems, what are the things that are going to trip us up as we go down the road. What are the things that can make us better to perform what we do?
Yes.
And if you're looking and proactively like that, we teach and we do an orientation for each and every employee before they go out on the street or they work in the jail. There's an orientation, which is interesting enough. It started off with like 30 slides, and I think we're over 110 now.
Wow.
So it has grown that much for the orientation portion of it. But we go over those certain things. We go over certain things constitutional. We go over some statutorial. We go over policies, procedures, and why the importance of that. Personal message for me, I feel it's very important that we continue that, because if we don't, we're going to start going back. And God forbid, I hope that it's not taken wrong what I'm bound to say, because it's a figure of speech. We become gunslingers, and we become the good old boy system. And, you know, if you're going to be fair and impartial, be fair and impartial. You know, we've arrested big names in the county, and people thought, he's really going to do it. And it's right's right, wrong's wrong. Doesn't matter who you are.
Exactly.
Nope.
Exactly.
Nope.
Exactly. I respect that 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I got one final question for him.
What is it?
So you guys have, you know the Constitution fairly well as well. Can you tell me the first 5 elements of the First Amendment?
There's freedom of speech, assembly, religion, which is one of my personal, and the redress of government.
And one more.
Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
what we're doing right now.
Oh, freedom of press.
There you go. There you go. That was the only one. I was like, come on.
I thought that was taken for granted.
That was taken for granted. Well, you know, our main goal in everything that we do is to show transparency and to try to bridge that gap between law enforcement and the normal citizens and stuff like that as well. And I definitely say you've done that today.
Well, thank you.
Oh,
Absolutely.
And just,
You got to work at it. You
Yeah.
can't stand by it. You got to continue at it.
Yeah.
And I think just also making people aware that there are reasons why sometimes things on a scene don't quite look the way they think, you know, they should, or things aren't going a certain way. You know, I think if more law enforcement departments were run in the vein that you're running yours, there would be a lot less questions about the whys. It would be like, okay, I don't understand, but I trust these people. I'm gonna let it happen until I see something blatantly wrong.
So if I can, I'd like to dovetail on it, because it's going to be counterintuitive. So when we first started, we put every arrest up on Facebook and transparency. We arrested this one, we arrested that one. And a minister out of North Dakota, Winston to be exact, and we become friends, and he said, man, I'll quit doing that. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, public love it. They want to see that. They want to see people in orange, jumpsuits. They want to see that we're doing our job. He says, you don't understand. He says, and I understood later, what was happening behind the scenes is that when we arrest them and put them on Facebook, others within that community would go rob them. And worse yet, it is attack of an individual. They're already at their lowest, and that's what the minister was mentioning. They're already at their lowest. So we had discontinued immediately, first of all, putting them up on there, unless it was something that was a threat for the public, or obviously if there's a murder, everybody's going to want to know. They're going to want
something pretty egregious, or
something very egregious. Then that becomes a different story. Or if there was an active hunt where somebody was the public was at large. But we have reverse 911. We have other things that we can do in that. But because of that, to be able to keep the dignity, and it sounds like, oh, you're coddling prisoners. No, it's still the right thing to do.
Especially if you're in a smaller town or area, then everybody kind of quick knows your business and extra details. I can understand that.
So that is one thing would kind of reversed on, but there's a reason being, is my point. And again, it's about people. It's a people business.
You are an example of a leader.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You are not a manager. You're not just someone, a figurehead. You are a leader. I love all this. I really do.
Well, thank you.
I do not see and hear all of this enough by far.
Well, thank you.
Most people just want to move little pieces around and forget that they're people.
We serve the citizen. That's the difference between a sheriff and many of the other law enforcement agencies. I serve at the will of the people, and they can revoke that in 28 coming up. If they choose.
Well,
hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I
Hopefully not
love everything I'm seeing and hearing here.
Well, thank
so
you.
just best of luck and
Yeah.
stay
Well, thank you.
safe.
I appreciate
Sheriff Bonham, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for your
Absolutely.
time.
that. Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the conversation.
Yeah.
Love to
Great.
talk about my county.
I can,
This is
I
I'm
can
very
tell.
proud of our county. Our county is, I think, one of the best. Of course, every sheriff will tell you that.
Yeah.
But I know the truth.
Yeah, there you go.
I just
Yeah.
love that you're continuing to move forward. You're not trying to keep the status quo and keep tradition. This is how we've always done it. I just love that you're. It seems like you always want to improve.
I do.
It's like you're always
Yeah.
looking for something new.
We're falling behind if we're not.
Yeah, there you go.
The
awesome.
truth.
go.
Awesome.
Thank you guys
you.
for your time too.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Till
And
next
Lucas,
time.
to you.
Oh, Lucas, yeah.
Yes, Lucas. Thank you.
You're awesome, man. You're the
Yeah.
quietest interviewer I've ever met.
Oh, I'm telling you, he never says a word. It's great. Yeah. Oh, until next time, guys. There you go.
I hope that works for you.
That worked.
Oh, that
But
was-
thank you for your kind
Thank you.
words.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you.
just wonderful. Thank,
Thank you for
so
your
much.
kind words.
You gotta stop mine here.
I honestly wish you could teach other